man, because you have to sneeze. Here's a good knock-knock joke. Knock, knock. Who's there? Interrupting cow.
Interrupting.
Moo. Kids love that one. Knock, knock. Who's there? Control freak. This is where you say control freak too. How do you ask an old man if he wants some chicken? Do you want some chicken? This blonde walks into the library. She says, I'm here to see the doctor. The librarian says, ma'am, this is a library. She says, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm here to see the doctor. Hello, adventures. So your online reputation is super important. You know, there's a lot of things that you can buy, there's a lot of things that have value, but the most important thing you have is the value of your name. So that's why when we talk about, if you're talking about something negative, or just in that one moment you send that reactive tweet or you live your frustration out online, you wouldn't live your frustration out on stage at church. So why would you say it on Facebook? Because sometimes your Facebook can even be more powerful than a platform. You have to realize that your social media is your pulpit. So what do you want to say from that? How do you want to affect the world? So making sure that we're only saying positive things and we're doing things to help make the world a better place is what we want to do from your platform. Now, what happens though is because your platform is important, in a company would call that their brand. And so they protect their brand, and you want to protect your name. So I'm going to tell you about two things that you can do to do that. The first thing is, it is important that you are consistent with your name across all the social platforms. So I see a lot of people, they opened up their account and they created their Gmail account, and it was Sharp as Marbles 34. That was actually Jeremiah's email, Sharp as Marbles 32 at Gmail. Unfortunately, can you still email you there?
I think it's AOL.
At AOL. Wow. So you want to pick a name that says something about you. So where possible, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, all of those, you're going to want to keep the name to be the same. Because for me, I'm going to tweet somebody and put at, and I was like, what is their name again? Because it's different on Twitter, it's different on Instagram, and it's hard to remember that. So you want to try to create consistency across all of them. What I like to do for me is I decided I was going to put things. At first I was going to put John Eric is, because on Twitter, John Eric is, flying a kite today. John Eric is, and I thought that might be kind of good. But then I thought, well, you know what? A lot of what I do is about, I just think about the world different. So instead, for me, it just came to me one day and I thought, John Eric thinks. Yeah, so John Eric thinks, and then when I'm doing that, and that became part of my reputation, and my reputation being one of the most valuable things that I have. So I have John Eric Thinks on Twitter, John Eric Thinks on Instagram. If you go to my Facebook URL, now while it says John Eric Mosler, realize I'm not talking about the name you can put in. You can change your name on Twitter, and you can change your name on Instagram, you can change your name on Facebook, and we all could have similar names, but it is that unique handle, that unique URL. So if you go to facebook.com, it's /John Eric Thinks. So that's where it allows for me in my own personal branding and in my own life, I can say, hey, follow the adventure everywhere at John Eric Thinks. For you, here's a couple of things that might be helpful for you to get all your names consistent. Number one, think of the good friend of mine, Abe Smith. Well, you know what? There is more than one Abe Smith in the world, but what he does is he puts the Abe Smith, which is kind of fun. There's another thing that a few of my friends do where they will use an underscore. So you can't use punctuation inside, for example, Twitter, so you can't put John-Eric, but you can use an underscore. So some people put the underscore at the beginning, some people put it at the underscore at the end, some people put the underscore in the middle. Another thing is people put I am. So I have a friend is I am Jason Burns. That's helping. I am Corey Cooper. I am. So there's several people that will use I am. So you want to look at being consistent across all those platforms. So the best way to do that is just get out a piece of paper, write out your 15 spaces, and then go and start to figure out one. Once you do that, what you're going to want to do is now then check it on other platforms. Now, I'm going to also give you a tool that will help you because there's so many social networks that ones that are popping up. And so there's a URL, they're putting it on the screen right now. It is called namecheck.com. And you can put your name in there and it is going to search all the different social media accounts and tell you if something's available. So even if you are not planning to be on Pinterest, go ahead and get that name. Set up the account. Don't do anything with it, but just get that. Vimeo. Some of you are like, I've never heard of Vimeo. Get that. You're wanting to get your name across all of those. Now, 2 things on Namecheck. It doesn't have Instagram listed, but you can go right in there and go to see if it's available. So when you go to change your handle, not your name, but your handle on that, that's the unique ID or that unique name that is for just you. If it allows you to change it, then you can change that. But don't go and get it and then realize, oh, it's not available on Twitter, I got to change it again, because in that meantime, somebody could get that other name. The other thing is at Namecheck, if you put something that's 18 characters, it will say that it's available on Twitter, because their code isn't as advanced where it's going to say, oh, I'm just going to check those 15. So it's just going to go and look up that name, and Twitter's going to say it doesn't exist, and so it's going to tell you it's available. But Twitter is telling you it doesn't exist because it doesn't allow it. It's not that smart, but just so know that if you keep it under 15, you can check everything there except for Instagram, and they might add that later, but it is a really great tool. The other tool that I want you to get is I want you, because we've been telling you to set up Google, and if you have that Gmail account, you can go to set up a Google alert. So this is a great way for you to put your name in or some unique phrases. So you might have an organization. It might be your business name or your church name or whatever. I have Google Alerts set up for me.